Good evening, Millwall fans around the world. You are tuned in to the best Millwall podcast around. This is your interactive Friday night preview show, joined by the partners in crime. We are joined by the one and only Fresh from the Barbers, Omar.
This is a week's effort, mate. It's been great for a little while. But evening, mate. Hello. You wouldn't know if you don't go to the Barbers, but how are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. And a good evening, Frankie.
How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Good evening to everyone in the chat. Hope everybody is well. Remember, if you are watching on YouTube, make sure you do like and maybe share it on your WhatsApp groups with your pals who should be here watching. And if you're watching on Twitter, don't forget you can comment. Your comments do come through to the show. Let's do a quick housekeeping. Good evening. Good evening, Peter, Andrew, Chris Brown, Des, Daniel. Daniel is giving us hello. Debs, Debs. Hello, Debs. I think that's Debs who emailed us, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah. We haven't got back to her, but great email, so thank you for that email.
Thank you for that. It was lovely, yeah. Nice. It's always nice to get little messages like that. So, yeah, much appreciated. Made all our day. Evening, Paul, Wall Line, Lee Humber, Mark. Fucking hell.
Found the bold is in residence. He is indeed.
Daily Millwall, Gaz Line. Gaz Line, are you the same Gaz Line? I keep asking this, but I think he is. If you are the Gaz Line from Millwall history, I'd like at some point to potentially have a chat with you, fella. So, yeah. All three, die free. No, not Andy Roberts. Shut up. If no one's ever seen it, Millwall history, mate, Gaz has put a lifetime of heart and soul into it. And, yeah, have a look at it. It's worthwhile. Big game tomorrow. It is pretty much standoff at the Den. We welcome Swansea to the Den. And it's pretty much, I would suggest, a must-win game for us to keep the unbelievable alive. And yeah, so we will get into that. We'll get into Tango, player of the season. We'll look at some stats. We'll look at some players. We'll look at this. We'll look at that. But first of all, we're going to do this. There we go. I fancied that one. I needed a little bit of energy to drive us in tonight and go from there. So I thought we'd go in with I've got notes, you see, so we'll see how well these notes carry on. But we've got notes, so we'll see. Season recap. Currently, Millwall is 8th on 63 points. One more win. Realistically, we could get to 7th, and it would make it our highest ever finish in the Championship. It's been a roller coaster season so far, and it doesn't look that it's stopping anytime soon. So, yeah, the big question then, Frankie, I'll read your line for you, mate, is what do you rate the season so far? Out of 10.
Out of 10. I think I personally will go with an 8, I reckon. I think if we got playoffs, I'd say 9. If we won the playoffs, it's a 10. But with all that's happened, I'd probably go 8. That might be a bit higher, though.
Okay. I mean, those of you watching and listening, just drop a number between 1 and 10 in the comments. Let's see where you rate our season so far. Omar?
Yeah, I have to go along with what Frankie's saying there, to be totally honest. I mean, just in case anyone wants to correct Mickey on that, I'll do it for you all. It isn't our highest ever finish in the Championship, because if you go back to the 2002 playoffs. Obviously, we finished in the playoffs. Just, people will want to correct you, mate. So I thought I'd do it for them on their behalf. I'd score an 8 as well, I think, to be honest. I think if I cast my mind back to forecasting the season, like we do every season and every, pre-season podcast, so to speak, it was quite a grim reading, it felt like at the time going into the season. Okay, we stayed up last season, finished the season strong like we did doing this season at the moment. For me, yeah, I'd have to go with an 8 because if I think back to what it was then, this time in pre-season, if we do go on to do better, of course, it's I think 8 is general consensus in the chat as well by looks of things, mate. So I think 8, 8.5. Like I said, we didn't know what was going to get going into this season, and I think to be where we are now with 2 games to go, I would have beat your hand off for that at the start of the season. Absolutely. I think I even joked to Mickey at one point during the pre-season predictions, which I'm sure I'll come back to at the end of the season and recap on. I think it was, are we going to need a result at Burnley to keep ourselves up? So that's kind of the vibe from the people that I've done the show with at the time. And you think back to where we are now, then it's far cry from that. And yeah, considering the upheaval and stuff and changes, it's been a good season so far.
Yeah, you'd definitely take it, wouldn't you? I mean, you wouldn't have expected at the beginning of the season, the way we were going, that we would be in the position where we are now. We would have took probably 6 weeks in, we would have probably took 19th place.
Mm-hmm. You're not wrong, mate. I think also we think about all the amount of signs we made this season as well in general. I mean, at the start of pre-season, we had, according to Neil Harris, no players, and we didn't. We've had to sign. We've signed plenty of our squad this season. Do you know what I mean? So it's been a typical up and down Millwall season, should we say?
It's been a superb season, to be fair, and it's one what's been exciting. And tomorrow's the last home game. We welcome the Welsh boys to the stadium, Swansea. We've won 3.
And Swansea as well.
It's okay. You just fucking read my notes before I get to the lines. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Why? So then, Omar being a prick. No. Head-to-head history then for Millwall versus Swansea. We've won 3 of the last 4 versus Swansea. We're chasing the first league double over Swansea since 84-85. Christ, you two weren't even born then. The last time it was done. Most of the chat will sit there and probably remember it, but yep. And Swansea have won 5 of their last 7 trips to the Den. So yeah, and as Omar did say, Swansea are in form on the back of 5 straight wins. And if we win at home tomorrow, that would make us 5 home wins on the bounce.
Not bad, eh? I think thinking back to them games, I remember the one in 2011, to be fair, Mickey, I was just thinking about, came to my mind. I think we had an outside glimmer of the playoffs as well. We just got promoted from League One. Obviously, the era where we had the COYL on the front of the shirts, and it was the 125-year anniversary season. And at the time, I think it was a real outside shout. Swansea actually went on to win the playoffs and get promoted, if I'm not mistaken. The likes of Scott Sinclair and stuff playing outside, but they played us for the part that day. And look, it's different circumstances. They got not much to play for, but they are informers. I said first, and then you brought on afterwards, mate. Anyway,
there's loads of silence to be edited out of this one later, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? Thanks for that. Yeah.
I tried to not get involved there. I thought I'm going to let these 2 play it out. I was going to sit it.
You don't have to get involved. You just sit there and look with a big smirk on your face, going, "Fuck, they're picking on each other and not on me." So yeah, I get that, mate. So yeah. I want to tap into the team news and obviously injuries and whatnot and where we're looking at for tomorrow. Obviously, injuries, we got Danny, Wallace, Lovelace, Scallon, the Dutch boy. What more? It's easier than trying to pronounce his name. Negley.
Algerian.
Algerian, sorry. Okay, all right. Okay, now. And what more? Jensen and Roberts out, but there is a little bit of hoo-ha around that potentially Roberts might be fit for tomorrow, but I don't think he will be, to be fair. I think he's out, and I think that we're going to be having George Evans in goal. Not that George Evans, but the other one. And he'll be in goal for us tomorrow. So yeah, And obviously, Omar, you can read your notes now if you want, or shall I just read them all and then let you come in when you feel free?
Why don't you bring Frankie in for a little spiel, mate? How about that?
Go on in, Frankie.
What are you asking, mate? Bad game tomorrow?
Mate, really? I do apologise for these two complete and utter dickheads that we're trying to be a little bit scripted and it's there. So what it says, so Frankie, predicted 11 discussions then, fella.
Normally do that at the end, mate. So you throw me off with changing the order. I don't like change, mate.
Don't fucking even start telling me about you don't like change, mate, because this is definitely not the season to have that discussion. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's been full of fucking change. But hey ho, we're here. It's the last game of the season at home tomorrow, mate. And we survived, as Gloria said. So you don't want to read that, then you don't want to fucking do that yet. We'll come back to your predicted 11. No, listen.
I don't want to fuck it up first. I'll do it. I'll upset it.
What?
I'll tell you what. What it's like being me every other week.
Okay, just listen, right? Let's come back to your predicted in a little bit, and let's just have a discussion around the championship and injuries this year, because I know that obviously we've got a few players out coming into the game tomorrow. There's a lot more players out across the league as a whole. Why? Because I know that it's, for a few people I've spoken to and agents and stuff, I know that there is discussion being taken on a board level with the EFL, because a lot of clubs are concerned over the amount of injuries they're getting. Mm-hmm. We've had a lot, but I just wonder why there is so many more injuries now than what there was, 5-10 years ago.
I think if you look at the pace of the game, if you was to look at running stats across the league, I reckon every single player's pushing more intensity running, blah, 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 more training sessions on average, more games. So I think all of that sort of accumulates into a pretty difficult time to be a player, really, in that sense. And it doesn't matter what league you're in, you see a lot more injuries, right? It doesn't matter if it's the best clubs in the world or like Newport County. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's getting more injuries. So it is across the board, and I get why they'd be looking at it more universally. I did a bit of a look into this myself the other day, and in the championship this year, each club's missed on average, players have been injured for roughly around 130 games. If you look at Millwall, it's nearer to 250. So we are well above that. So as a club, we do need to look at it and go, well, the football's got a problem, but Millwall, we have got a massive problem.
Yeah, I mean, there is. I mean, I'm looking at a list there. You've got QPR with players out, Watford, Hull, Sunderland, Derby, Burnley, Norwich, Coventry, Oxford, Sheffield Wednesday. And to be fair, there's probably loads more. There is a big list. I was looking at it earlier. There is a big list of players what are out injured, and why, I don't know. Because I think some of it with us could be that they're playing on a frozen pitch at Claremont, which will obviously change now. They've put some investment in this season, but I just wonder if playing from pitches on training grounds aren't necessarily up to a good level, and then playing on proper maintained pitches, I just wonder if there's a difference from playing one surface to the other, and that's getting it, because there seems to be a hell of a lot of very similar injuries.
It's interesting though, Mickey, because you're right. You started to read out the injury list. I'd done the preview for another site earlier today, and I thought, well, who's been unavailable last game? And it was Billy Mitchell, Joe Bryan, Lucas Jensen, George Honeyman, Duncan Watmore, Liam Roberts, Danny McNamara, Callum Scanlon, Bangor Williams, Camille Negley, and Lovelace. That's an 11 you could field potentially if you play two goalies in that 11, whatever you want to play with there. But my point being, all of them players as well would likely be involved or feature. Will they all be starters? Probably not. But we spoke about having a big squad in January, but then thank God we do have the big squad, because the players are getting through it at the moment based on the amount of players we've had absent, especially at the end of last game. So I remember Gary Rowett saying something weird like 2-3 seasons ago, because you're right to point out the training ground, but I think it's actually quite a good training pitch. They've put a lot of money into it over the last 3 or 4 seasons.
Brand new, isn't it?
He came out with something along the lines, I remember saying once, playing on a really good surface at Calmont Road, then playing at the Den, players could be more susceptible to injury. I can't remember where he exactly said it, but I do remember the quote, like something to that effect. So it's almost like the Den pitch, which has since been relayed as well, like it was playing on different surfaces, caught the players out. But I don't really buy the whole, I get where Frankie's coming from, but the game's changed. It's more about possession than even about running stats. I feel like I've not looked at the stats like Frankie has, but my perception of it is everyone's trying to play the passing around football. It's less contact. So then if you take all that into consideration, you'd almost feel like there should be less injuries. It's bizarre. That's my perception of it as from the outside without really looking into it. You think it's more possession based, less physicality. Referees blow up every 5 seconds to stop the game flowing.
But is that part of the problem, mate? Referees stop the game, stopping and starting, players getting cold.
I don't know.
Whatever it is, we are completely out of kilter with the league, and that's what needs to be addressed.
Yeah, and I think it will. I think we've now we own Claremont. I think we've invested heavily, $500,000, $1 million or so on the pitch there to make them all great. But I think you might have a point, especially with the Prem, with players going injured on the Prem. I would say that VAR probably has a huge issue with the stop-start, some of the games stopping, starting. That's a good point, actually, from Dan. I've not thought of that before, that at Claremont Road, it's a real pitch. It's real grass, it's a real pitch. But at the Den, last season before, I think it was, wasn't it 2 seasons ago? I think they changed it to a synthetic pitch. So basically, remember when we done the tour, whatever, didn't we? And they were saying about it, I think it's like it's a real pitch, but inlaid into it is synthetic grass to basically make sure that it's easier to keep in good condition. But on that, the pictures look shocking this season, though, isn't it? On certain points, last season before, it looked great. This season, there was a few games where it looked as if, I know we've had some bad weather, but it looked as if it's been affected a bit.
The irony is there, Mick, that after that was because they were playing at the Den because the pitches were waterlogged and frozen at Calmont. So that's why. So trying to give them a better training pitch to train on ended up ruining the pitch. And I personally, if you was to ask me, I wouldn't say the pitches are really the problem. All of them have been done up in the last 3 years, and everyone says about how good the surfaces are. And I think we need to look at training facilities, diet, nutrition at the club, that sort of thing. And that's all expensive, right? Because you're saying you need whole new gym facilities and a whole new team looking at that. But if that costs you $500,000 to sort out, but that enables your £3.5 million neg league to actually get on the pitch, that's worth doing. That's a good investment.
Yeah, true. Also, another weird thing is there's more subs allowed in games now. So there's more. You think there's more minutes management? It is bizarre. It feels like we get affected by injuries more than most, a lot. And like you said, the stats there, 250 matches or something, wasn't it, in total, or something compared to the average of 140 or whatever. So yeah, it's a bizarre one. I mean, some of the comments I think I'll probably do back up. The synthetic comment, I do think it kind of relates to the whole thing about what Rat was trying to get as well. So it's an interesting take, I think. But
definitely I'd like to I'd definitely like to know more about it, And if you want to be a secret groundsman, get in touch and let us know some bits and pieces, mate. And also, if you are a groundsman, I've got a lot of grass out in my back garden what needs sorting out. So if you want to give me a bag of the seed, what's laid at the pitches, mate, I'm more than happy to meet you in an undisclosed location. But it has to have Millwall pitch grass written on the sack, or I won't believe you.
The only problem is you'll know if it's the pitch grass, mate, because you'll do your ACL a couple of weeks after. So you'll know.
my poor German Shepherd's going to have to be put in for ACL treatments, do you know what I mean? So, yeah. James Kelly says, didn't Harris and the club bring back a psycho? Didn't a physio that had a terrible form when it come to injuries when he was there last? We also have changed the club doctor because our old club doctor has gone to Brentford. So yeah, we have changed that. Whether that does, I know
Well,
the guy who was with Rowett wasn't exactly liked, shall we say?
I think we should need to bring back Bobby Backich, where his name is Bobby Backich. Bring him back if it be sold K jackets. Right,
Bobby Backache.
Yeah, exactly. But I think
and we're not related as much as he looks like me. I'm not related.
Didn't Harris bring back Lawrence Bloom, or whatever his name was, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah.
He's more sports science, which you could also say relates to injuries as well, I suppose, all adds to the contributing factor, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question. I suppose we need to get some sort of sports therapist or someone on here, mate, to give us the lowdown one day.
He has a good point there, doesn't it? If it was the pitch, you would have thought that the players would have said something about it. I mean, we saw the player power the other day with the end of season, with the players forcing the club's hand and coming out with their message. So you would have thought that if the pitch was potentially risking their livelihood, then they would have come out. And going back to something what you said a little minute ago, Omar, about the way the play is now, is it the fact that players are having to, it's not so much the big runs, they're now having to chase the balls down. There's a lot more turning, a lot more chasing. And is that turning with what someone else said, where people are wearing blades instead of studs? Is their feet getting, with a round stud, it's probably easier to pivot on your heel as such, but with a blade, it's not necessarily easy to pivot, but it's obviously a lot better to run and get grip on the ground. So whether or not that has something to do with it.
I think also that I want to contradict myself, because the point from Dean Turner is actually half right, one underneath. Like, we are actually a side, I was thinking this anyway, just before you saw the comment, we are a side that actually gives up a lot of possession anyway. So we do a lot of running off the ball. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's style of play factor into it for us, or maybe we just sign players that are typically injury prone. Maybe that's something to it. We brought back Lovelace. Lovelace got injured before he even featured again for us. Maybe we just got
already injured though now.
Uncle Watmore's been a sick note at most clubs he's been to, struggles to complete 90 minutes of football anyway. I don't know. Maybe it's just the players we sign, or we've got a lot of obviously players coming from Europe as well. Negley's case, he's adapting to the game. There's all sorts of factors to come to it, but we just seem to be more unlucky than a lot of clubs, and it is something that you could argue is holding us back, because I'd like to have Negley available for tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd like to have that option, someone different to come in to affect the game, and the players are getting by. And you mentioned Swansea won 5 of the last 5. We won 4 of our last 5. We're still doing the business with all them injuries. So yeah, it's an interesting one for sure.
If there is anyone who wants to get in touch, and you can be as anonymous as you want, but just email info@thatmillwallpodcast.co.uk. And yeah, but we are keen to understand what's what. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one. So yeah. Form guide. Are you going to do this, Omar, or am I going to fucking read this out as well?
Mickey,
no, you're a wanker.
You do.
So then, this is Omar's lines for those of you who are watching. Okay, so Millwall 4 straight wins, aiming for 5 for the first time since 2016.
At home.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
That's correct.
I've done well here, haven't I?
I believe so, mate. Is it possible we've been on a 5-game winning home run last season or not? Because I'm thinking, I know where you get your sources from. Is it because it might be time stamped here, but I believe that's correct. I like this stat.
No, this is all this data I've got from Transfer, BBC,
excellent,
Sofa,
Score,
Football Planet, and some other things like that for stats and that. And then I've added it all together and made it look pretty. Frankie. Swansea 5 straight wins, best form since 2007. By the way, when I say Frankie, that was his fucking line, what he didn't want to do. So as you can gather tonight, I'm the one making all the fruit pastels. They're getting nothing. So yeah,
just do your job.
Listen,
it's all right.
Listen, if you are watching live and you're enjoying it, even if you're watching it back, and you're like seeing me suffer at the hands of these two fuckers. Make sure you smash that like button, share the live, and get involved in the chat. Let us know if you're a first-time viewer, or if you've got any views on anything what we said so far. Get involved. Or just put an emoji in the chat if you think that the Lions tomorrow will handle the pressure. So then, Stat attack. Thanks, lads. I love you boys so much.
Did you want to
Swansea.
talk about the form guide for a little bit?
Go on in.
I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because I think where has this form come from both sides? Do you know what I mean? This is one, where have Swansea come from? Because last time we played them, they were piss poor, weren't they? If we're being completely honest, and they are flying up the table, and the fact that they're now only 3 points behind us is pretty insane. So you've got to give them credit, in you.
They're managed by Alan Sheehan, aren't they, as well? I think obviously Luke Williams departed, didn't he, if I'm not mistaken? I'm pretty sure Luke Williams departed, and it's kind of coincided with that kind of form, isn't it, a bit? Luke Williams obviously was the man they took from Notts County, so, you know, your boy Langstaff will know him quite well, Mickey, but he's not there anymore. But I think, obviously, it seems like they've changed manager, like how we did last season, and it's got them away from all sorts of trouble. Do you know what I mean? I think
Thanks, Mark.
They've obviously I think at one point there was maybe a threat of Swansea getting relegated this season, but they've really pulled away from that, a bit like how we did this time last season. It is interesting. I think they're playing with freedom, a bit like how, you know, teams do tend to do this time of season. It could be a real bananas against tomorrow for sure.
For both sides, which I will get onto as you've read the notes. We will come on to that as we get down it. But, you know,
I didn't really like that. So yeah, so I'm just gonna, you know, I saw team lineups in the. I saw.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I see you reading your phone there, mate, pretending that it was all good with the management from Swansea and all that lot. Do you know what I mean?
You're right. I googled that one, but no, the older. I saw predicted lineups, mate, in the first 5 minutes. I was like, right, I'm not reading these notes. I'm just gonna let Mickey lead the show today, and that's exactly what I've done.
And why were the lineups in there? Oh, that was because what you did. So yeah, but hey. It is what it is. I think that
it is what it is.
The problem is for the end of this season, you know damn well that Sky, ITV, BBC, whoever want everybody potentially in the relegation fight to be on 46 points at the end of the games tomorrow, so that they're going into the final game with everybody on 46 in that little tiny bit, so that it actually goes down to the final game. And I would honestly like us to win tomorrow, and then we go down with 4 teams to basically go down to that final game, because I think it adds jeopardy to the championship, and I think it just makes the last game that even more exciting, doesn't it? Louise, other sweets are available, but not as payment. Millwall is always fruit pastels. Don't ask me why it started or where it come from, but it is always. We've done transfers. Remember when we got Neil Fisler at the beginning, didn't we? We were like, oh yeah, that's fruit pastels and all this sort of deal, and we fucked about with. But yeah, no, it's always there. Question for you: why we're just going completely off script and ruining everything what I've spent the entire last week practicing for you boys? But yeah, does Amaku deserve a start tomorrow?
Not for me. I don't want to. I don't like criticising players, but I will say one thing: Amaku being quick is a myth. I've discovered and I've decided he just looks quick, but he's not quick. Amaku. I'm putting this one out there. Blackburn away when he came on in the second half. Right, I watched him try and chase down the right fullback, who wasn't necessarily the quickest person in the world. But he deserves a start. Not for me personally on recent form, but also him being fast. Anything we've got going for him, it's a myth. I've decided that Marco isn't fast. He's not the rapid striker that we've been thinking.
No, that's good,
mate.
Hang on, one second.
I'm not saying he's not slow. I'm not saying he's slow. I'm not saying he's slow, but I don't think
he's not quick.
He's not as quick as everyone makes out he is for me.
Anyone watching who knows the Marco or anyone from the club, we're available to come down to training ground and film this, and we are quite happy as Omar's gone on a health fix lately and going to the gym and everything else. I would like to see 100-meter sprint between Amaku and Omar. And if you'd like to see that in the chat, just sit there and say, yes, Fat Boy won't win. If you don't think Omar won't win. So
you just got offended by the comment from Chris Brown there, mate. That's what that was about. You want to divert it to me. But no, mate,
I like that. He said it's a well-known fact, bald blokes are more intelligent than hairy ones. And you're both got hair. Well, Frankie's keeping hold of his for as long as he can, but it's falling off the back. But you both got hair and I haven't.
What the fuck is this bloke on tonight?
I don't know, but he's getting some
He does
break.
the show notes once. He's got right fucking carried away
I
himself.
know, and he showed up. He showed up at the den for the first time in ages tomorrow, so you can get your revenge, mate. So go for it.
On the Maku being not that quick, you said it was when he was chasing down a fullback, as in running backwards.
Yeah, no, he's not running backwards, is he?
Yeah, but going back towards his own goal.
Yes, but he's still sprinting.
Yeah, but was he sprinting? Or did
Yes,
he not really want it? Or was he not that fussed about getting back to cover the fullback? Because what he really wants to do is run forward. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, that comment's a bit concerned from Jiminy Cricket, by the way, just to put that one out there. But anyway, what I will say, I think I'm not saying he's slow, but he's not the speed merchant that we believed and thought he was. I just put this one out there for Mark. I think he's quick, but he's not. He's not like the speed demon that I think he's just when he's got the ball at his feet, he's very awkward and good at that. As in, like he seems to have this fashion of getting the ball past players. But I just don't think he's not that quick speed demon that I think he's nailed down to be. You look at say when Marvin Williams first burst on the scene, he was quick, right?
But would you have been quick getting back and helping his fullback out?
He was sprinting back because it was a counter attack. He was trying to sprint back. I've concluded this. I saw it with my own eyes, Frankie. I watched it. I saw it play out, and I was thinking he's not that speed demon we think he is. He's quick, but he's not like ridiculously quick that everyone labels him to be. For me, he's got a good change of pace, as mentioned by Mark Murphy there, but he's top speed. He hasn't got that. But then he's got a good change of. I'm not saying he's slow either, but he's not. For me, it's a myth almost. I think we just assume it with him a little bit. I honestly think that.
We also once watched Ryan Leonard eat the ground and get back at who was it? The one that was on loan to us.
Nope.
Striker from Swansea. I can't remember his name. But we once watched him.
Obafemi.
That's it. Yeah. No. We once watched Ryan Leonard eating the ground and get back in. He was regarded as the quickest player in the league. But didn't then mean Ryan Leonard was the second quickest player. He wasn't the quickest player.
Listen, you know, allegedly the quickest player was in the team at the start of the season was Murray Wallace, wasn't it?
He's got the most endurance. I think Murray Wallace. That's what it is, isn't it? He's the fittest player in the team. That's for sure. Looks like the Dennis are sold out for tomorrow. It is indeed, right? Be there.
I don't mind. I'm in the comfort seats.
Mickey, what's next on your script, mate?
I fucking don't know, mate. I feel like one of you could be Jeff Stelling here, mate. Do you know what I mean? So
there you go. Andrew Roberts on my side here as well. Are you the real Andrew Roberts, by the way? But no, yeah, Andrew Roberts.
That's going to carry on now, isn't it? Yeah.
So this is like it's just. I think we assume Marku is rapid. And I'm not saying he's slow, but I'm just take my observation and take this into your thoughts on the last two games of the season, everyone, and then feedback to me. If I'm wrong, let me know.
You once told me Saville was better than Denor. I didn't believe that either.
I'm not going that route. I never said that such thing either. I don't know what you're about.
Paul Moody had a great change of pace, going from slow to dead slow in a blink of an eye. Robbie Ryan was not fast, but done the job at left back for years. We had this last week, though.
Yeah,
we're going to get it every week now. Don't worry. If it's down to them, I'm happy to forget it, mate. But these two. Yeah, no, they're not going to forget it. So, yeah.
Alex, that's a good comment there, to be fair. He's an impact sub, isn't he? You know what? Neil Harris labelled a bit, and I think Neil Harris was being a bit critical of him at the time, but I think he was right with what he said. He's a great impact to have with 20 minutes to go to stretch teams. And that's what I always call that sub winning games. That's always the first thing I say to people I'm watching the game with.
Right. Stat attack styles clash. Swansea, 494 passes a game, 83% accuracy. Millwall, more duels, 60% more offensive headers, 1. Millwall stronger physically, Swansea better in possession. Off you go, gents.
I think that's a good assumption, isn't it? It's good stats to back it up. That's the general perception, isn't it, Frankie? I think, in fairness.
See? It's what you get when a professional makes these show notes, you see?
But no, that is the general concept of Millwall playing Swansea, Frankie, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah. Let's move on.
But you know what? In fairness,
we've got about 7.5 minutes now. Carry on.
when we had the shit house 2-2 draw away at their grounds, where they scored 2 own goals.
Yeah.
I remember wanting to leave that in the 90th minute, and thank God I didn't. By the way, I got talked out of it because I was thinking get out to the car. But I remember they just dominated us all game. And I think Obafemi might have had 9 chances that night as well. They were all over us, passing. What you get from Swansea is a certain style of play. It's been instilled from them since Roberto Martinez was their manager, like 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's just pass. I find it personally too boring to watch, I have to say.
Yeah,
when Russell Martin was in charge and he carried it on at Southampton, it's not how I want to play. I didn't come on the show Monday, but for me, our performance on Monday, I'd much rather watch a team like that. Mill play. It's not hard, is it? 2 strikers, 2 wingers, have a go, especially in your home games. Swansea they constantly, for me, just pass. But if their players are on song and they move the ball quick, which is something we've always struggled against, especially defensively, before we had the likes of Tanganga in the side and Kramer who can recover the ground quickly, it's always been a problem for us still, that sort of thing. But I'm fairly confident with hopefully we can play to our age, and I think that should hopefully be enough tomorrow. We'll have to see.
We will put these, where are we getting the stats from? We will put the infograms or the infographs up. I'll try and put them in the show description after the show, so those of you listening can come back onto the channel and have a look. Make sure you press like though, and make sure you're subscribed if you're not, because the show last week, most of the viewers who watched it, in fact the one before, were between 63 and 71% of you watching it weren't subscribed, and it costs nothing. Just subscribe, please.
You lucky people. Right?
Key player focus, gents. This could be interesting. Ivanovic, 11 goals, more than double anyone else in the Millwall team. 6 goals in the last 7 games. 2,189 minutes, 35 appearances, top 20 according to the data being analysed by AI. Huge sprint and distance numbers, physically a dominant centre forward. Agree, gents, or disagree? Or
I just want to say it's 11 goals in the league. It's 12 goals in all competitions as well. But yeah,
I know, but we're playing in the league tomorrow, dickhead. So it's 11 goals.
And Dan's right. I do like a 4-4-2. I've always preached that. For me, there's 2 wingers, 2 strikers. But yeah, who's their key player, Mickey? Have you got one of them as well? I haven't read as far down that far, so I might be putting you in the spot there. But who's their key player?
Whilst you're finding out, just on Ivanovic, I think we are getting to a stage now, Ivanovic, where if he doesn't have a good game, we struggle. Like he's such a vocal point, and he is the goal for it.
Liam Cullen, Swansea, 40 matches, 3,110 minutes, 7 goals, 2 assists. He's in the top 3 for offensive aerial duels among attacking midfielders. 20 passes received per match, 2.5 interceptions per match, presses high intensity runner, top 10 for sprinting among forwards.
I mean,
you didn't expect me to have that one, did you? Hey, yeah, mate.
On Ivanovic, I do find it. I think Ivanovic he's nowhere near the finished product. And the fact that he's on 12 goals in all competitions this season is ridiculous, right? Even the first goal Monday, he didn't know much about it, but there's a knack of being in the right place at the right time. And his catalogue of goals this season is ridiculous. And I think one of the comments before there, so one of the best goal scoring records for under 21 Europe this season from Daily Millwall, and he's right. He's getting all the headlines for the right reasons, but he's nowhere near the finished article. I do feel like some club will take the risk on him. If he scores twice again tomorrow and gets 1 at Burnley, what we finish on for the 15 in all competitions, that's like a metric that will throw up to someone out there that makes them realise, like, oh, we've got to take a chance on this striker. And then that's the position Millwall's in, where we make it known we'll sell players on if the price is right as such. But he's nowhere near the finished article. Nowhere near it. You've got to give him his credit. Like, he's been unbelievable for his first season in English football. Mickey.
12 plus 2.
14.
So where the fuck did you get 15 from?
Because I said if he gets 1 at Burnley as well.
Yeah,
I shut you up, didn't it, Baldy? Yeah, shut
not
down.
really. Anyway, I've done another.
More intelligent,
I've done another player stat for you, Omar.
Go on, Mickey. Give me another player stat.
George Saville.
Yes.
You'll like this one.
Here we go.
43 matches played, 3,451 minutes. First in the Championship, defensive midfielders for duels and ball recoveries. 10.3 ball recoveries per game, 8th best overall in the Championship. 4.4 interceptions per 90 minutes, 84% pass accuracy in opposition half, and the top 5 in the Championship for totally defensive AA points against midfielders.
And that's George Saville, isn't it? In a nutshell. You know what? Like a lot of people say, "Oh, we're going to move him on in the summer." For me, he has to have another role in the club next season and in the squads. Is that a 46 game a season starting all the games? No, it's not. But what Saville gives you is what he's shown in the last couple of games he's started. Second balls, the amount of times when he's not on that side, the midfield lose the battle of the second balls. Whenever you put Saville in there, he's just got a knack of being in the right place at the right time. You can't almost teach that sometimes, I think, find with him. Like he's always got a knack of, like you said, recoveries per game, interceptions per game. In fairness to Denor, he's got this high statistics as well this season. I think most interceptions in the Championship. But I think with Saville, he's just got a knack of being in the right place at the right time. He knows his way around the block in the Championship, and you need that experience. And Saville, for me, I'm not saying he's the answer to play every game, but if you've got Denor and Mitchell as your midfield 2, and you've got Saville plus one more, is that Dan Kelly next season? I don't think so. I think Kelly probably needs to go out on loan and play 40 games next season and stay fit and build himself up. But if you get one more challenging for them starting positions next season, have 4 central midfielders to have a real go, you need Saville in there to complete the 4 for me. He's got to stick around for next season, personally.
Oh, listen. And also on the back of this point, so Gasline 22 says, rumour where we were after a German left-sided centre-half, need someone with pace to challenge Cooper. Well, it just so happens that I've done some stats on Cooper too. Because we've talked about him a bit, and we've sort of said he's going to be a player that we're not going to realise who we've got till he's gone. Cooper, 34 matches, 3,297 minutes, top 3 Championship centre back for defensive AI points, 128 offensive aerial duels won, first amongst centre backs, 444 ball recoveries, 122 clearances, 163 interceptions, no red cards this season, tough but clean defender, and obviously 193 centimetres tall, massive presence in both boxes. Not bad stats, are they, for him?
Well, you go to Frankie. What's your take on Cooper, Frankie, them stats?
We spoke about Cooper a lot, haven't we? And it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because you always do become a little bit complacent about how good he is each week and how consistent he is at the back. And again, you actually look at that and you think 34 matches, that's low for him. That's really low for him. So to have someone in there that always plays, or seems to always play the 40-game mark with that level of consistency, got a goal threat as well, whilst being that dominant in the air and stuff, I think whilst we're, at the minute, we are going down a bit of a different route footballing-wise to the rest of football, aren't we? We've said this earlier in the show. Everyone wants to have possession now. Everyone wants to get the ball down, knock it about. We don't really. We want to battle. We want to give people bloody noses. You can't really do that quite as effectively without Jake Cooper. And then them stats just back it up, really.
Is he drew a goal? He's drew a goal, isn't he? I think in the next couple of games.
Yeah, I think so. My German's not too bad, to be fair. Daily Millwall. I can say Sprochen zu Deutsch, and that's about it, to be fair. Or Ich bin. And yeah, that's about it, to be fair. I used to do it at school, so yeah.
I'm just going to touch on what Omar was saying about Saville as well. When you was going through them stats, Mick, the one that was almost a bit alarming there was 3,451 minutes played. That's way too many for a guy his age in that position in the Championship. He needs help, and it's not a surprise to me that I think the last 2 games he's been exceptional in midfield. He's had a bit of a rest, hasn't he? So, funny enough, he looks a much, much better player, and that's why he should stay around next year as a leader in the camp, good in the changing room, but also can actually contribute when he does get his minutes. But he should be around 2,000 minutes next year, not 3,400.
He's not that old, to be fair, Frankie, but I do get what you mean.
How old is he?
32, maybe?
Oh, he feels older than that, doesn't he?
I mean, if you work that out on average between 43 games, that's on average 80 minutes a game.
Yeah, because of the injuries. The Nor's had his moment of injury, isn't he? Or he stepped out the side for a bit. Billy Mitchell obviously was a big absentee at the start of the season. Saville was 31 years of age, 32 in June. It's not like he's. I think he's just because he's been around for so long. Saville. His game isn't though to get up and even though he does get up and down the pitch, his game's not to be the chaser like Billy Mitchell. He like I said, he reads the game differently, and I think I've always got time for George Saville, and I think he's one of those that when he's not involved, I notice it the most with the second balls and players pick up the position, like being there to win the interceptions as such. Like the Nor's good on the front foot. I think Saville's always good when it's lumped up to Ivanovic, who half time doesn't win it, who has done more recently. When it comes back, it's always Saville there to the second ball for me, and I think he's very good at reading the game for me.
Second half against Norwich, I thought he was exceptional. The amount of times he snapped into a challenge.
Yeah,
the minute they got to midfield, and he stopped them playing. Yeah,
for sure, definitely. What's all the German refs going on in this chat anyway?
Because someone said about that we're looking at a German player, so now everyone's writing in German. I wonder if Steve actually wrote in German himself, or whether or not he just Google translated.
Dankeschön, my friend. There you go.
Yeah, it is what it is. Mickey's German is Murdy, isn't Murdy?
I think one thing I've noticed when I went to the Euros last summer, when you're just polite, you try to speak the local language. Germans did not like English speaking any German, for sure. Which you could probably put two together to work out why, but it was always "you're welcome," and then off they went.
There's irony in that. Just at one point, they're desperate.
By the way, Sheffield United 1-0 up against Stoke. So who's your match winner tomorrow then? Ivanovic, Saville, Cooper, or someone else? Put it in the comments who you think it is as well. Come on, get in the comments.
Frankie, you're up for this one.
I reckon it's got Liam Cullen. At least that sounds right. Who's going to be a match winner tomorrow? Femi Aziz. Not someone we pulled stats out for there, but I thought he's been exceptional. He was exceptional last week against Norwich. And I think he'll be a difference maker tomorrow.
I think I do. I've talked myself into Cooper. Now I've mentioned it. It's a bit like the Imarku one I went with when we won 1-0 a couple of weeks ago. I was a bit off of the Imarku shout, and since then I've never forgiven him quite clearly. But I do think it'll be a game for a set piece goal tomorrow. I can feel it, and there's a shout for a couple of people from Coburn there in the chat, Peter Sullivan and Lee Humber. I was thinking Cooper can make an impact. I could see us scoring from a set piece tomorrow. I've got a vision made of that. I think that could be a difference maker. I think Swansea are known for their passing. They're known for their on the ball skills, but maybe off the ball, susceptible to a set piece, perhaps. I don't know. We'll probably do one. Ivanovic free kick in the 89th minute. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
That'd be lovely, wouldn't it? We'll say
to make it 1-4 consolation.
I'll go with that one as well. Yeah, there you go. That's what I'll do. So yeah, be careful. Nice. You be careful. But yeah. Nice. Right. Player of the season.
Yes.
I thought that I've played with the stats a little bit. I thought I'd play with them a little bit more. Player of the season, what was voted for by the fans. Obviously, Tango won. He got first place. Player of the season, well deserved. Fully deserved for his defending. He's just, held that line, made us look solid at the back. So there's neither one of you are going to sit there and do this. I will do this. Tango, 89 defensive AOA points, 72% successful defensive actions, 58% aerial duels won, 38 appearances rock solid. Casper, 44 games played, higher passing accuracy, 84% opposition half, more running distance and higher intensity sprints. To me, it simply went down to defence or attack pretty much. And because of that, Tango won.
Millwall fans love a defender, notoriously. We've always loved a defender for the player season, right?
Because they go through the players, don't they? That's why we love them.
I'm no different with it. I'm glad that Tanganga came back in on Monday and put performance in. He did, to be honest. I think he came back in and I've seen it before against Blackburn, against the Norwich side that score goals for fun, second most in the league, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, like Tanganga just put a job in on Monday. I think for me, it was always Tanganga. I think the Nor's been incredible this season. And what a signing he was from Alex Aldridge. Thank you, Aldo. Thank you very much for that that input in getting the Nor in last summer. No one's going to say it, so I'll put it out there.
I don't know if I did, but yeah, go on.
No, I'm only saying it tongue in cheek. But I just think Tanganga for me, he's everything and more. I hope the club comes in after he's proved his fitness now and the fact that his knee seems to be right over the last season and a half. I'd love to keep him again for next season. I'd love us to tie him down to a longer term contract. And I don't agree with the whole giving him the captain armband shout. I know you guys say that to give him a sweetener, to keep him around. I don't think he's too bothered about that. I understand his logic. I think it's been something shouted a couple of times on the show. I think maybe Jay says it. I'm not sure who says it a lot, but I'm sure someone does say it quite a bit on here. But just Tanganga is just like, he's been so good for that back line. He organises, he covers Cooper's arse, makes Cooper a bit of a better defender. Cooper's always solid, but I think Tanganga always digs players, digs the team out and helps us out in situations. He's deserved winner, as Steve Boy says there.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Daily Millwall, I know they're fucking two different players. I'm not that fucking stupid. I know my football knowledge gets ripped apart a lot, but even I'm not that stupid. That's why I said, it was one for possession and one for defence, hence why we had the discussion about the defender. But yeah, hey, thanks for that. So yeah, James, there's a lot of new names in here today. James says, give him a parking space right in front of the front doors. If Roberts won it, it was a slap in the face for the rest of the squad. Yeah, it was, and I think it's a shame what was coming out that the MSC was basically asked to do it, to withdraw it, and obviously this is the people who represent our fan base and thought it would be funny to say no, he stays in, which I think you saw from the players and Hutch coming out and saying that they're going to withdraw him. I think had to come out the way it did because rumour was that the players were going to boycott the end of season all down to the fact of, your fan group allegedly wanting to stand fast and prove a point. But hey-ho. Maybe we should start a fan group next season. What do you reckon, Omar? That Millwall Podcast fan group. Maybe we should just merge AMS and That Millwall Podcast and we'll take the fans' representation on. Put the old band back together again. Could be a laugh. No real competition, so I'm not really afraid about the competition. So, yeah. Seems to be the story of my fucking life. But hey up. Chrissy, you're going to Burnley. Omar's going to Burnley. Frankie, you're going to Burnley?
I haven't got a ticket, so probably not now.
No, that's it.
Unless someone can source me last minute. Well, I think on the player of the year thing as well, you do look at it, you think to yourself, if Roberts was in it, whilst it might have been a nice touch for whilst it might have been a nice touch, as a bit of a show of solidarity for Roberts, regardless of how he felt about it, sort of thing. How gutting would that have been for for Ivanovic? He then would have dropped out into fourth and then not got the recognition for what he's done this season. So, I think overall the top three were the right top three, wouldn't they?
Yeah. No, I think that's right. I think it is. And then if you take out some of it, which is probably, certain parts of the fan base probably thinking they're doing it as a bit of a laugh vote, then I think it would have probably took away from Ivanovic's what he's done this season. So yeah, I think it's worked. It's right. While we're on that, before we go on to fingers, none of you are sticking to the notes, so I'm going to sit there and say, end of season tomorrow. The club has come out obviously with stay in your seats, don't come on the pitch. The club has to sit there and do this every game because you saw what happened with Palace with the certain chant about a club in Southwest London.
Sorry.
I'm not. No, it's definitely Southwest London, mate.
Yeah, go.
What? Who the chant is based over? That's what I'm about. I'm not going to say the chant because it is classified as a homophobic So I'm not going to say it, but I just think that because of that and the way they do, the problem is that the club now has to justify or be seen to make sure that it's trying to make sure nothing happens, because the FA could potentially go after the club under Rule E22, which is basically failure to control your fans, which I think is an impossible rule that will always get broken. You can't stop them. And also, I believe that the more you tell people not to do something, fans, the more likely they are to do it. But if the club don't put anything out in this week coming up to it and something happened, then they'll be fucked anyway. But by doing it, and even if something happens, they're still fucked. But what I would say to you is what we saw the other day with Burnley and Sheffield United, with the fans running on the pitch, and the fact that we've got a World Cup next season, and the fact that the old Bill seems to be wanting to fucking jump all over people, I would probably just have a little bit of a think beforehand. You're probably fine. But I could see the FA possibly looking to come down on it, or even the police deciding that there's an easy nick there. Because don't forget, entering the field of play, regardless of what you think about it, it is a criminal offence, can get you arrested, can get you a banning order, and could potentially get you a prison sentence. Chances of that happening are very slim, but it will get you a banning order, and it will get you a fucking visit to your local police station if they wanted to. I don't agree with it. I think it's bollocks. You can run on a pitch at rugby without a problem, cricket without a problem, but you run on a pitch at football, it's a criminal offence, which is, balls. It's bollocks. It just needs to be changed rather than living in fucking 1985 again. So yeah,
it happens every season. To be fair, I don't mind it if it's normally just a lot of kids running on, but then
I don't care.
It does get sometimes a bit silly, I find.
Listen, if you want to do it, it's down to you.
Do it. It's not for me personally. I've done it when I was younger. Do you know what I mean? But again,
I think it's good for the kids. If the kids want to do it, yeah, run on, get yourself a selfie, run off, yeah, great. But I think the biggest problem you've got is that I think there is now an agenda from the FA and whatnot, and they will look at any way they can. And the EFL, will either hit one or all clubs with this fucking stupid E22 rule, failure to control your fans, which is bullshit. But yeah, I just wanted to see, because I see loads of people moaning about it and doing all of this. I honestly don't believe that the club want to post out those messages, because every time they do, they get fucking dog shit abuse. But if they don't, they're screwed anyway. The ones at Chelsea, I'll be surprised if we don't get close to £100,000 fine for each offence, which is ridiculous. But hey ho, we don't, I don't make the rules, unfortunately. Right, playoff.
We might have another game in a week's time at home.
Yeah, we could, yeah. So you don't really want to trash the pitch. So yeah, don't run on the pitch. And
what is the point?
What's called it? So yeah, and there is some rumours that people want to lay ashes or something. Just be careful there, because they do rip the pitch up in a week and a half's time as well. So yeah, once the final game or so. So yeah, the playoff race watch running. Bristol City got Leeds on Monday, and then they've got Preston North End. Coventry has got Luton, and then Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough's got Middlesbrough, Norwich, and then Coventry. Millwall, obviously, we got Swansea tomorrow, and then we got Burnley next week. And Blackburn have got Watford, and then they've got Sheffield United. So looking at that, I'd say Blackburn could be in it, because Sheffield United is a strong team. I think they're going in hard. Middlesbrough, I think, have got a tricky run. Coventry, again, I think, has got a tricky run, because they don't have the best of form against Luton.
Yeah.
And I think Bristol City, I can't see them winning against Leeds. Can you?
No, I think Leeds will win the next 2 games.
So yeah, so I put it down to 5 teams.
Just win
we do
tomorrow and still be in the hat. Just win tomorrow. And Alex Neil's very good at this as well, from what he says in the press a lot. Just win tomorrow, and then be in that position. If Coventry fail to win tomorrow too, I think they play at 12:30, don't they, tomorrow as well, if I'm not mistaken, against Luton. Now look, that's the only incentive you'll need. If they drop points tomorrow at lunchtime, that's the team talk, isn't it? Let's have it right. That will be, listen, Borough and Coventry are playing each other on the last day of the season. If Coventry drop points, and by some miracle Middlesbrough also drop points, who's Middlesbrough got? Sorry, Mickey?
Middlesbrough's got Norwich tomorrow.
At home, they're away, I guess, because Norwich.
Yeah, Norwich. No, they're at home. Middlesbrough's at home.
Okay, look, that's the team talk. That's it. Like, them 2 play each other last game of the season. If Coventry drop points tomorrow, that's all the incentive we need to go and get a result tomorrow, and just be in that position for the last day of the season. Are we going to go to Burnley and beat them? If Burnley somehow fuck up tomorrow or whenever they play, and Leeds get the league all but done, then that's in our favour, isn't it, as well? But just focus on us tomorrow, get the result, and roll on, get on the train on Saturday morning next week, and just all the permutations going through your heads. That's for sure.
Going through them fixtures, though, mate, out of them 5 teams, I reckon maximum 2 of them win both games. Like the amount of points that be dropped in them 5 teams, I genuinely can see every single one of them at least drawing a game.
I mean, Burnley's got QPR tomorrow.
Yeah.
So Burnley's got QPR at QPR, and I could see QPR giving them a good run for their money. They've come onto form of late, so it's not easy. Leeds are definitely going to want to win this on a high, aren't they? They're going to want 100 points without a shadow of a doubt. So I can see Leeds beating Bristol tomorrow, which will keep them on 67. Coventry have a shit record against Luton. So if they drop points there and we win tomorrow, we are on the same points. The goal difference is going to kill us. But unless we score 5 tomorrow.
There is a world, and if this happens, but there is a world we can finish in 6th place by close of play tomorrow evening. There is that. If we won 2-0 and Coventry lost 2 or 3-0, there is a world where, okay, it's not the light limit. Like, that's a bet you want to put on if you want decent odds, right? Let's get carried away a bit. But if we found ourselves in 6th, that'd be even worse, though. I wouldn't want that going to Burnley next Saturday.
If you sneak in last day, great. I don't
want us occupying 6th place tomorrow evening, but at the same time, oh dear. Imagine that would be something, wouldn't it? That would be something to hold on to. But yeah, we'll see.
I don't know if you remember last year, but when we had Harris last year, we were winning every week, and it felt like we weren't actually ever climbing the table because the teams around the playoffs were losing constantly, and everyone at the bottom was winning every single week. I can see the same thing happening this year. I think the next 2 games are really, really interesting down the bottom.
Yeah,
and they'll pick up points, and there will be a team, whether that be Borough, Coventry, Bristol City, that just drops points you're not expecting against someone like Luton at home, and then just completely derails them. Pressure's on them.
Luton's last 2, mate, is Coventry tomorrow at lunchtime and West Brom last game of the season as well. So if Luton want to pick up a result, they're probably going to pick it up tomorrow, don't they? I mean,
the problem is, mate, I want Luton to go down. So,
I mean, you look at the teams. You've got Plymouth Argyle on 43, Cardiff on 43, Luton on 46, Derby on 46, Hull on 48. If Cardiff and Plymouth win tomorrow, that will basically put, and say Luton, don't move. But I think Luton will do Coventry tomorrow. But realistically, you're looking at it will go down to the final game. If Derby don't win tomorrow, Hull don't win tomorrow. It could really go down to the final game for the bottom, which is what probably Sky and BBC and ITV all want. So who do you think's going down? Who's your ideal for going down?
Who I want to go down, who I think will go down.
No, who you want? Who? If you could turn it now and go, right, these three are going down, who would you do? Mine would be Oxford, Derby, Luton.
Is it boring if I say I'm exactly the same?
No.
I don't see Plymouth getting out of it, to be honest. Their goal difference as well is just that's going to go against them. And they got Leeds last game of the season. Like, I don't see Plymouth getting out of it. So Plymouth are done. Cardiff, they've got West Brom tomorrow and Norwich, two teams with nothing to play for. You could see a Cardiff result tomorrow, and it will make it interesting last day of the season.
I would like for them, maybe.
Sorry, mate.
New manager bounce for them, maybe.
Maybe. I'd like to see Plymouth, Luton, and Derby go down.
What have Plymouth done to you, mate?
It's just so far away to go to, and it's always on a Tuesday night.
Peter's coming. Can you imagine this? We win the playoffs. Ipswich win their last 5 games. West Ham lose their last 5, and there is a swinging goal difference of 20.
There is a world. I think someone put something on Twitter, but I think it got dispelled because obviously Ipswich got battered last week. There is a world where that could happen, but I don't think that will happen. Let's be honest. But yeah, I think Plymouth, Cardiff, and Luton go down. Oh, I've changed my mind. No, I don't know. Plymouth and Luton definitely, and Derby or Cardiff. I can't decide.
Right then, gents. Omar, give us your starting 11 for tomorrow.
There's an interesting one here, and I want to know people's opinion on who should play at right back, because you've got to play Tanganga tomorrow, surely. So does Crammer come out of the back four? Because you could also argue you want to play Leonard. I think if you're going to go on, I think at this point of the season, 2 games to go, you've got to go our best possible team for output and how we want to play. I think we want to take the game to them. I will go with Evans in goal. If Roberts is available, then Roberts, obviously. But Evans in goal, Ryan Leonard right back. It's incredibly harsh on Crammer, but for me, you've got to play Ryan Leonard right back if we're picking the team based on going for it and trying to get the result. Centre half pairing of Tanganga and Cooper. Is Joe Bryan back?
I've not heard anything.
No, I've not heard it either.
Sturridge don't have no harm last week, so look, let's keep searching at this point. Billy Mitchell, I take it nothing but heard either, right? I think he's ruled out, I believe. So then
him and Honeyman are both unlikely, I think, for the next 2 games.
Saville and Denor in midfield too. I guess Kundal's got to continue right wing then. And then left wing, Aziz, and up front, Coburn and Ivanovic, mate. So yeah, I one change. Harsh on Crammer. Incredibly harsh. But look, we've got to play our best possible team to get a result. We've got to try and take the game to them. If Crammer plays, I'm not disappointed. I just think I can see a world where Leonard's going to have a big game if he starts. But then I wouldn't mind Crammer playing either. So yeah, one change.
I mean, if you're not going to play Crammer, just give him a pair of gloves. He's a fucking big lad.
Yeah, so I think one change from last week, or do you even change your team? I don't know. Alex Neil, I don't envy you picking the right back position, because I feel like either way he goes, it's going to be he should have played the other one, and that's the job of the manager, right? So there you go. That's my team, mate.
That's it. Frankie?
Yes, same, mate. Evans in goal, Leonard right back, Tanganga, Cooper, Sturridge, Saville, Denor, Kundal, Aziz, and then 2 up top, Coburn and Ivanovic.
I think Saville's importance as well playing is highlighted. I think he coached Sturridge through the game really well last week on Monday. I think having him there to drop in at left, because it allows Sturridge to commit forward. Saville does read the game well. I've said it multiple times. There you go. It's a Saville loving as always for me. But I think it enables like Sturridge to get forward, because he can sit in a bit deeper on the left side of the midfield, and it does allow for Sturridge to cut the bomb on. It's not going to be a game where we're going to go for him, though. I don't know. I don't think. I want us to go for him, replicate it, but Swansea are equally capable of popping us off the pitch. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but it's the great thing.
I don't know what's fucking coming next on the show notes either, do you? But yeah, thanks for that one. So yeah.
What's your team, Mickey? Just agree with us?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know if you saw it last week.
My only difference would be I would probably put Langstaff I would put him out wide and Aziz on the other side, and then Yeah, because he can play out wide, but we're just not playing him now. I think play him out wide. I think he gets a chance to run in. So, yeah, but I'm still going with what I said, mate. I'm looking forward to next season. Fuck you, haters, mate.
Thanks for that.
I don't know if you saw it before the game against Norwich, but before the ball was kicked, you could see Saville literally before the game talking to Sturge, sort of drilling him up, talking to him quite a lot, and it didn't stop all game. And you think the fact that he was out there on the pitch giving him instructions before it even started, telling him where he needed to be and that sort of thing, you could tell it made a difference.
Coached him through the game massively.
That's it. Peter Sullivan says Leonard Cooper, Kramer, Tango, Sturge, back six with wing backs, midfield Saville, Denor, Cundall, BFS, and Coburn. Sturge is out of contract with Chelsea this season. Would you buy him if he was interested in coming to us? There you go, gents. There's a question for you.
No.
Yeah, I think he's come in and done a great job. There's probably a lot better out there to rival Brian if we keep Brian on.
No, I get that. Omar, prediction for tomorrow.
I keep chopping and changing, Mickey, but I'm going to go 2-1 to Millwall tomorrow.
That's
gone.
That's it. No, well, I've come to you. That's what the AI predicted. Let's see what Frankie goes with.
Well, I didn't give you my goal scorers, mate. So
I'll go on and give us your goal scorers then.
Yeah. When I'm done speaking, then you can move on. Yeah. Cooper. Cooper and Langstaff to score. There you go.
Frankie.
1-0.
Sorry. Hang on. Is it okay for Frankie to speak now?
Yeah. Go on, Frankie.
Okay. Go on, Frankie.
Appreciate that. 1-0 Ivanovic.
Clean sheet FC. We love to see it.
2-0.
But it'll be the ugliest one we've ever seen. Like proper struggle, but we'll get there.
So yeah, put your predictions in the chat. Come on. While you're there, press like as well, because there's only a few of you what have pressed like so far. So come on, do that. Daily Millwall says we lose 3-2. Andrew Roberts, not the Andrew Roberts, says 2-1 Millwall. London Lion says read somewhere that Chelsea have had a few offers for him. Okay, not there. 2-1 Millwall. 1-1 from London Lion. Pete Sullivan says 2-1. I don't want to make a prediction. We had better results when I kept my mouth shut. Okay, fair enough. 3-4-3. Evans, Jaffet, Jake, Kramer, Leonard, Casper, Sav, Serge, Aziz, Ivanovic, Langstaff. Des says 2-1. Chris Brown says 2-1. Paul says 1-1. R. Deb says 1-0. Wallline 94 says 1-1. Louise, we've got two ladies in tonight. Excellent. 1-0. Steve Lloyd says 3-0 Wall. Lee Humber says 3-1. Garlic times 2. Tango times 1. I'm not even going to ask there. Ollie Russell, 2-1. Stephen Lloyd, Coburn, 2, BFS, 1. Wow. And Steve says, hello, ladies.
What's your prediction, right, Mickey? What's your prediction, mate?
2-0 Millwall.
2-0 Millwall, yeah.
2-0 Millwall, clean sheet, because I think Evans is finding himself. I mean, you've got to take in that he's 19 years old. So he's definitely not in the prime for a keeper, but I think he's doing all right in a minute.
I think goal scored, mate. Langstaff for both?
No. I'll go Langstaff 1, and I reckon Jake Cooper for the other. So, there we go. We're now going Cockney rhyming slang for the Serb. So garlic and herb, Serb, 2. Could you? There's a challenge for a show, isn't there? Can you do Cockney rhyming slang for all the players? Luton football ground on fire, by the way.
Wow.
Allegedly.
Anyway, keep steering on the show, please, mate. Mr.
Yeah.
All on the show notes, mate.
Yeah.
The show notes are pretty much done, mate. We're fucked. We're finished. We've got everyone talking. Jim 2-0. Louise says, sorry, this isn't Tinder, by the way. This isn't like swipe right or swipe left or whatever you do in these things, mate. So, yeah. 3-1 Millwall.
Pretending you don't know.
I don't know, mate. I've been married for fucking 24 years. Well, not been married for 24 years. I've been with my missus 24 years. So, yeah, I've got no idea, mate. Omar, tell us all about it. What's the best dating platform?
No comment. I don't do dating sites anyway. Not worth my time, mate. Anyway, move on.
No, I like that annoying silence. So yeah. We're all done. So yeah.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Good chat tonight.
We are.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, much appreciated to my two co-hosts for absolutely ruining the effort and time placed on trying to create some professional-looking show notes for you guys.
You still had a great show, mate. You led the show with them notes. It was brilliant. Well done, Mickey, today. Proud of you, mate.
Yeah, you smashed it today, Mick. Well done, mate.
Thank you, mate. Really appreciate you.
Thanks. Yes, make sure you do like, subscribe, and share with your mates. At the moment, 50 of you have liked when there's pretty much about 100 or so, I think, now watching going up. So, yes, thank you very much for joining us. Omar, any final words?
No, mate, that's it. Get us down the den tomorrow. If you're going, be sure to say hello to us if you see us and come on your lines.
I don't think they're serious, mate. You know. We're not mixing with the riffraff. Go on.
Be nice tomorrow,
Thank you. Yeah, that's it. Hello. Frankie, any final words, fella?
Yeah, mate. It's another good show. Hopefully, another good weekend. Let's keep the dream alive, eh?
Thanks, chaps. Let's see if Omar can catch Idemo on 90 minutes. Thank you. Thank you, Peter. Lovely show. That is pretty much it. I am now flustering because I can't find the right bit what I want to use. Oh, there we go.
Oh, giddy up and get away. Oh, we're going Millwall, and we're going today. Here we go. Rocking all